Hi, welcome back. It's Paul. Yesterday, or whenever you watched the first video, I went into the basics of starting on a project in Microsoft Project. And today I'm going to do a little bit of refresher on that and talk about how Excel and Project, how they're similar and how they're different, and get into a few new things with Microsoft Project. So here's the project that I built yesterday. I've got, looks like 10 tasks, and a couple things I went over when I started. One, right at the bottom here where it says new tasks auto scheduled, you can change that to manual scheduled or auto scheduled. And I prefer to have it on auto scheduled because that makes use of projects built-in features. If you forget to do it, what you can do is just highlight all your tasks, and then we're in the task menu. That's where we spend almost all of our work time, in the task menu. Over here, you can just tell it to switch to manual schedule. You see it switch there under task mode, or to auto schedule. So no big deal to change it later on. I just like to change it up front, and then it's ready to go. Okay, a little bit about the menus. We have a lot of menus here, well, normal amount, I guess, but we really do almost all of our work under the task menu. There's basically two other things that we commonly do. In project, we might update project information, and that's basically telling it when our project's going to start. And the other thing that we use up here under format, way over here on the right, there's an option to have project summary task. And if I click that, it puts one more task at the top, which is a summary, and everything else gets demoted. So it's kind of nice using that because you can turn it on and off depending on whether you want to see the summary. So those are the two other menu items we use. Other than that, we stay under task. And for views, we use Gantt chart view. Sometimes when you go exploring other things, you get a different view going on. For example, if I switch to a resource graph, it brings up a different view, and then I want to get back to my normal view. All I need to do is click on Gantt chart view here. So that's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Now, let's look at how Excel compares to Project. So I'm going to drag this graphic part way over, get it all the way. And you notice I've got different columns here, and here it says add new column. So I'm going to click on the down arrow, and you can see I've got, a couple hundred different options of different columns. Here's some text columns. Cancel that. I'm going to delete that column, so I didn't want a text column. So I've got all these different options for columns, which seems like a lot, but let's go and open up Excel side by side. And I've got Excel ready to go. Now with Excel, the columns are whatever you decide they're going to be. So if you decide that this is going to be my summary of all my costs, you put in a column and you put in a formula and add up your costs, or whatever you want to do with it. With Project, you can't tell it what to do. All you can do is you can select from their available options. So here somewhere I've got cost. So I can add in a column that's going to summarize my costs. In Excel, I have to actually put the formulas in and tell it how to do that. So it's kind of neat with Project that all the formulas are built in, but it's also kind of a detriment because you can't change those formulas. You just have to use what they put in there. So that's, for me, kind of a love-hate thing between Excel and Project, and it's kind of like neither one is the best of both worlds. By the way, if you want to move stuff back and forth, I can just click on all this information and do a copy and go over to Excel. and paste, and everything gets pasted over. All right, so that's a couple similarities and differences between Project and Excel. And we'll be getting back to Excel in future videos, talking about how it's good to, especially for presenting your information, Excel's a lot better for that because, let me show you a quick example. If I go to reports and I do a cash flow report, Project has it's right now there's no information to really report on, but it does a pretty decent job at building a report, but it's not very easy to customize it to make it look just the way you want it. So it's quick and easy, but it's not very good. So for doing reports, I prefer to move the information to Excel, and then I can make it look exactly the way I want it to look. Now I'm in a report view. I need to get back to my Gantt chart, so I'll click on Gantt chart.